Hey guys, and welcome to the session. This is going to be a pretty straightforward video aimed mainly at beginners in Python. And what I want to show is how you can use enumerate instead of using a for I in range loop. So let me just show you the original first. So suppose, for example, you've got this list of names here. What people normally might do is do something like this. For I in range, they might say len of names. And then this I here, this is basically going to give us an index. So it's going to give us 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's suppose we then just do inside print, we say, let's print off the index, and then from our list of names, we'll go to names, index I. So let's go ahead and run this, and we see 0, 1, 2, 3, and then on the right-hand side here, John, Charlotte, Sarah, and Ian. Now, this is all well and good, and for some situations, yeah, that's absolutely fine. However, the use of enumerate basically does this for us. So let's go ahead and just try it by doing for I in, and then we'll say enumerate. This is a built-in function, so no imports needed. And then just do names here. And then we'll go ahead and just print I, just like before. We'll do clear and then hit run. So notice straight away, what it's giving us here is actually a tuple. And you can tell by doing I and then type of I. There we are. And now our tuple contains two items. On the left, we have the index, so 0, 1, 2, 3. And then on the right, we have the item at that index. And the cool thing about a tuple, or any sort of sequence in this way, is we can unpack it pretty easily. So what you can do here is rather than saying for each individual item in the enumeration of names, so each individual item being this, we can actually say, let's unpack it here. So maybe we'll do for the index and then the name in enumerate of names. Then let's do IDX first. We'll just clear that and run again. Then after index or IDX, we can go ahead and do name here. Let's go ahead and run. And now, rather than just showing a tuple consisting of those like individual items, we now have two separate things. So IDX being all the numbers and name being all of these here. So let's suppose, okay, maybe for example, we want to figure out at what indices do we have people with names longer than 4 letters? So you could say something like, if the len of name happens to be greater than 4, then let's print off the IDX and the name as well. What you could even do actually, do a little left string here, we'll do blank at index out of blank, and then just populate these accordingly. So name at index IDX. All right, let's run that. Charlotte index 1, Sarah index 2. So let's have a look. 0, 1, yeah, that looks good. Sarah index 2, perfect. Let's get rid of this here for just a second. But that's all enumerate really does. It gives you a pretty straightforward and simple way to access things inside a sequence and then the index of those things inside a sequence. Now let's take a look at a bit more of an interesting example, and we're going to be using a text file here just called myfile.txt. Let's go ahead and bring in pathlib. So we'll do from pathlib, let's import path like this. So I'm first going to start by just creating this path object here. So we'll do myfile.txt. Here we go, got there on the end. And then we'll call the open method on it to go ahead and get this opened. Now, if I just quickly assign this to say x here, and then let's just do print, and we'll just do print x like this. We can see here we get this IO text file wrapper. Now let's just try and do something. Let's try and do for I in x. Let's go ahead and do it like this. And we now see it comes through like this, and we can see the text given out here. Now what's cool about this is that we can do an enumeration over all of this here, rather than just doing a regular for loop. So let's remove this out of the way. Then what we can do here is something like for line, let's do line num, and then line in this. Then we need to do our enumerate here. There we go, just like that. And let's just go ahead and do print, I'll do line num here first, and then do the line second. Now one thing you might want to do whilst you're here as well is actually go ahead and do dot strip here, just to get rid of those lingering new line characters at the end. And there we go. Now one of the benefits of enumerate is that it actually takes in an additional thing here at the end. So if I do this, we can see VS Code opens up start int equals 0. This is just telling you basically what number this is going to be starting at. And in some contexts, it might not be great to refer to this as line 0. So what we can do is say start is 1. Run again. And now we see 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just a nice simple way to use enumerate over a opened pathlib object starting at line 1. So, just to recap, if you're using something like for I in range len of some item, that's perfectly valid code, it's fine. But I always find enumerate to be often a bit cleaner, a bit nicer, and it basically means there's less chance of you doing some kind of syntax error. You've only got to write one function name, pass something in, and if you want to, you can pass in start is equal to some other number as well. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you've got any suggestions as to things you want to see in Python, feel free to let me know in the comments. Have a great weekend, guys, and see you all in the next video.